What's up, guys? It's Chris, and welcome back to another yapping session. Uh, Real quickly, currently, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I am on my old hardcore world. I went down to my mob grinder, which requires a firework to get out of because I'm out of fireworks, and I didn't bring anything to basically get out of there. So that's what I'm doing currently. Yeah. So I guess you might wonder what I'm yapping about today, and it's probably the thing that I've wanted to talk about the most, or at least uh, get into a little bit since I started talking about these, right? And that's just relationships. And I'm not entirely going to talk about like romantic relationships, but or the relationships you have with other people, maybe coworkers, maybe friends, family, and maybe a little bit into like the, I guess, more romantical relationships. We'll just kind of see where the yapping session takes us today. But I mean, yeah. So of course, I've been thinking about this a lot uh, because I guess it's kind of also the reason why I am even making this kind of series. Uh, I mean, it wasn't supposed to be a series. It was more I just, you know, needed to yap a little bit, talk about something, and y'all seem to listen, which I'm very just grateful for. Because you never know if people are gonna listen or not going to. So I'm grateful that y'all did listen. It's much appreciated. But yeah. So I guess the reason I'm saying this is because part of why I do this is not everybody has kind of a relationship where they always get to just get talk about what exactly they want to talk about, or they don't really have somebody all the time that they want to talk about stuff with, even if they have someone that they know they could if they wanted to, but it's just not kind of what they do. Like me, I'm in a relationship for almost 4 years now. So needless to say, it's been a long time, comparatively to other people at least. But you know, and I know that like if I wanted to, could I talk about this stuff? Probably. But it's kind of like, in my opinion, you're just gonna get an answer from somebody who, like, they care about you, but that's not really the answer you want all the time. And sometimes you just want to talk it out. So, like, today, that's what I'm doing. A very big thing, I guess, is I would sometime would talk this stuff out with my best friend. For a while, he has been away. I know he watches this, so I guess you can blame him or thank him for this series. Uh, but he was gone for a while, and a lot of my other friends are either busy or I just don't talk to them too much or talk to them about stuff like this. And so for a couple months, you just kind of sit there and you just think about it, and eventually you gotta talk it out. Could I now talk it out with my friend? Probably. He's kind of in a spot where he could, but I started doing this, and I feel like this is just very helpful in general. So we're gonna go into it. Uh, but I guess what I'm trying to say is having a kind of relationship with anybody where you can just talk stuff that you need to, whether you want a response back or not, because you don't always want a response back. Nobody always wants a response back. Sometimes you just want to know that someone's listening and will give feedback if you want it, because you don't always want it, like I said. But I think that's just important. I think that's something as humans we just need. You just need someone to listen sometimes, and you don't always get that. Not everyone has the privilege of knowing someone that will do that. I just think that's something that we all need to like strive for. If you don't have a friend like that, or one of your friends doesn't have a friend like that, maybe you should try and be that friend that will just listen, because sometimes people just want to be heard. That fixes a lot of issues whether it's between you two or a group of y'all or just something about, I don't know, a coworker they have or an issue like that. You know, they just want someone to listen that's not gonna go, well, hey, have you tried this? You know, they just want someone to listen. I think that's important, uh, just for everybody. So I think finding a friend is one of the most important things you can do. Finding someone that you know you can go out and do random stuff with, or just talk with randomly, or do dumb stuff. I think that is important, and I think it's important to have someone like that that isn't just your significant other. Because I'm a strong believer that, yeah, you can have your significant other and stuff like that, but you still need other people outside of that. That sounds wrong. You need other, like, people to socialize with there. That sounded very wrong the first time I said it, I think. But yeah, I think you just need other people to socialize outside of it, because things happen in relationships, and if the only person you're talking to within it, then you're never gonna get a actual, like, good outside perspective or anything on it, and you're not gonna know if maybe something that's going on is wrong, or maybe you were in the wrong, or maybe you were in the right. And you know, sometimes you need at least an outside perspective to help you know that, because I think dynamics in relationships are very important. If you have a horrible dynamic, then you should probably leave or talk about it, work on it. That's something that people don't do either, is they just don't talk about issues they have with one another. You know, like I said earlier, it's important to have a friend to talk to about issues that you're having, but also you need to be able to talk with somebody, whether it's your friend, significant other, about problems y'all are having with each other. Because if you don't fix problems that you are having with each other, then it's going to lead to you all, like, you losing each other, which is a horrible thing. If you ever lost a dear friend because of an argument that probably could have been fixed, but got to the point that it couldn't, you probably know it sucks. Uh, this is a thing that a lot of families do too. Families, like, you and your siblings, I think personally the only people you can truly relate to all the time is your siblings, because they're the only people who are kind of almost exactly like you, I guess, unless if you have like half siblings or something. But they're the, like, if you have a full blood sibling, they're the only people in the whole world that pretty much truly get you. Uh, I like to think I have a close relationship with my siblings. But that's because we understand that there's no one else out there who knows exactly what, you know, how it doesn't know exactly how we grew up, doesn't know exactly how we are today. You don't have, like, I feel like that should be the only person, not the only person, but I feel like that's the only person that, if they want to understand, that's the only person who's gonna understand it. So that's why when I see certain people who have horrible relationships with their siblings, not because of them lack of trying, because their siblings just push them away or are just really rude to them, even though they're older. Of course, when you're younger, you're going to be mean to your siblings. That's just life. That's everybody. That's part of growing up. But when you're older, you should get along with your siblings. Now, occasionally, we all do have, like, crazy siblings, which were, like, bad people who are our siblings, which then that, you know, that makes sense. It makes sense if you don't want to be with them. But if they're not, that's the only person you have, you know, pretty much your whole life. Most siblings die around the same age, so most siblings, for the most part, are born kind of close. So that's the only person you have your whole life, pretty much. You know, most people don't meet their friends until, I think the most population is like high school or college. I met my best friend in pre-K, and that's a rare phenomenon. So it's like, it's one of those, truly the only person you have your whole life is your siblings, you know. I think that's something we need to appreciate more. Uh, and I think family relationships are just important. I feel like we should all care about family, because even if you don't like the family you came from, you can still build a family that you're proud of and one that you want to see do better. Because I think if you come from a horrible family, I think you should want to strive to build a better one. Take a horrible foundation, just redo it all, make a strong one. Because why not do that, you know? If you know what it being horrible is like, then you know what not to do. You may not know exactly what to do, but you know what not to do. And I think that's something that, as people, as a person myself, I think that's something we all look past sometimes. Is we're like, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do better than who came before me. Well, it's like, well, you know what not to do. You know, it's like if you're in a horrible relationship or a horrible situation, and you leave, and you're like, well, I don't know how to do this or how to do that. Well, you know what not to do. You know, uh, trying to think about exactly how to say this. It's like, I don't know. If you lie, for example, to your significant other all the time, and that leads to you breaking up, when your future relationships, you know, hey, don't do that. Be honest. Like you can learn from your mistakes, and that's something that people don't want to do. Or maybe they want to learn from their mistakes, but they don't want to learn from other people's mistakes. Because you can learn from other people's mistakes. Especially like as a kid, if you see your parents do something stupid, you should be able to learn, and you have many years to learn from it until that becomes a problem that maybe you have to deal with. Um, so relationships are important in that regard because they teach you, they let you be a better person. They give you the opportunity at least to be a better person. That's something we all need to do is just take what little opportunities we have to become better and just take them and roll with them. We don't always get opportunities, but there's always an opportunity at least once in your life to make something better or at least want to do something better. Want is a huge thing. You have to want to do better in a relationship. You have to want to do better at work and just all this other stuff. But yeah, I think that is just something that we should all think about in there. Um, I don't have too much more to say. If you want me to go more in depth into, I guess, romantic relationships and stuff like that, I have a lot more that I could say and that I kind of do want to say about those, but it just isn't right for this talk. And I don't want to mix two things that shouldn't be. I feel like sometimes I lose track. Uh, this time I feel like I stayed really good on track. And I don't want to mix two things. You came to this video for one reason, and I hope you got the reason you wanted. Hopefully you found what you were looking to hear. Maybe you found something you didn't know you wanted to hear. That's the goal. If I can take any of the little that I know and help someone, or at least just maybe I'm good background noise while you're playing Marvel Rivals or you're wandering around your Minecraft world at 2 a.m. because your friends are offline and you don't know what to do. Um, so yeah, just know that relationships are important. Friendships, romantic ones, they not only build who we are, but they also build who other people are. If you have a sibling or somebody who is kind of hard to reach, maybe just try to reach out to them more and more. Eventually, you'll give up if they're too hard to get. But sometimes we just need someone to push. I know that from personal experience, not from me being the one hard to get, but sometimes you just have to push, and then it makes life so much easier and so much better because you have another person. You have another person that you can trust and that you can talk to and joke around with and talk to at family reunions and stuff like that. So I think that's something that you need to learn also. If you have someone who, like, you have another sibling, maybe a half sibling that circumstance wise is just kind of off from talking to you, you can always push. Y'all still at least share 50%, at least be 50% more nice to each other. Something like that. Y'all can always relate on something. Um, So yeah, uh, hopefully, like I said, this helped you with something, or maybe just enjoyed listening. But that's all I got for today, and I will see y'all next time. Maybe in another app, maybe in another different kind of video. But yeah, so hope y'all enjoyed. Goodbye.